work and number crunching that goes behind that when people fly off to wherever it is that they go. There is a reason for which this money is being given. Why would it be so difficult then to peg the project to the source of funds?
Before I answer that question, let me make it more dramatic.
Okay, here we go.
All of you, I'm sure you have borrowed some money.
Yes.
Now, when I borrow money, I always tie that money to a specific project. I want to borrow money to build a house, to buy a car, maybe to plant trees. Individuals always tie their money, particularly borrowed money, to specific projects because they want to see the future returns. Yes. But in government, it does not happen that way for a very simple reason: politics. So occasionally you see our political leaders go to a political rally and say, we are going to build a road here, we are going to build this here. So if you tie money to the projects, as he is putting it, where will that money, where will that room for maneuver come, particularly with 2027 coming? So because of politics, that's why you never tie money you borrow to specific projects. Because as a politician, you must always appease to your constituents, to your voters. That's the reason. There's politics, not because of economics. But I wish that could happen because it will make a very big difference. Remember, at the end of the day, there's one statistic I never see in our budget, I never saw in economic survey unless you saw it, productivity. We want to make this economy more productive. We want to make everybody more productive.
We never measure.
That's why you want to build roads. That's why you want to use. That's why you want to use more IT, more automation, so the economy can be more productive. If it becomes more productive, it expands and will create jobs for young men and women. So it's all politics. That's why we don't tie specific projects to specific money that is borrowed.
But Prof, even while at that, we are borrowing using stipulated law.
Yeah.
Right? It is the law that then demands that everything you borrow is tied to a specific project. Whilst we can talk about politics, there is the law. So what I'm hearing us say then, it is intentional breaking of the law because we can run away with it because we are playing politics. But that notwithstanding, Prof, as well, while we look at projects have not been tied to, funds have not been tied to projects yet you're still borrowing. We can't equally talk about funding the budget and not talk about wastage that we see on a daily basis. Because the wastage and corruption that we see in government today is actually denying the very same government to do the projects that they tell Kenyans on a daily basis, tutawatengenezea barabara kutoka Kotulo, Modogashe, hapo kwa hiyo kona. It is because of the wastage that we see that we are unable to do that. So if today, say, we seal wastage and corruption in government, what are we likely to see in the economy?
In fact, we are bringing the issue of wastage too late in this program. It should have been the starting point. Because if you don't want people to pay, if you don't want to borrow, if you don't want to pay to people, if you want more taxes, you don't want to borrow, you don't want more levies, the best alternative is to reduce your expenditure. And you cannot reduce expenditure in health or in education, because that's very critical. But you can reduce expenditure in corruption. I've always said that one former president stood in public and gave us the amount of money that is wasted in this country.
2 billion.
And nobody has ever publicly denied that. So if we can reduce this wastage, corruption, nepotism, duplication of duties, all these debates about debt, about levies would be reduced. And I've always given a very simple example. I drive a Vitz because that's what I can afford and because of petrol. And I've always wondered, why can't the government drive Vitz? Have you ever seen a Vitz GK or a Vitz County? So why can't we reduce such wastes? The roads in Kenya, in Nairobi, are very good because that's where the government is. So the government would be very comfortable driving a Vitz. And nobody said that a big car is a status, is a symbol of status. There are people who have a lot of power and they drive very small cars. So if we can reduce such waste, there are a lot of duties that are done by the county and done by the government. So such wastes in cars and other expenses would definitely give a lot of savings. And you probably realize that you don't need even to increase the taxes. You don't need to increase the levies. Number two is, why are we having more levies coming up? Yet, with IT, services are becoming cheaper. I used to go and queue to get a driving license some years ago. Nowadays, I get from my house. So why should it be expensive? So I agree with you that waste is one area we must target. But the question that comes is, do we have the political will to target corruption, to target nepotism, to target waste? If we had that political will, and I say it again, such that I can make decisions today that will sacrifice my MP, my women rep, my presidency next year, this country will change. But as long as we don't have that political will, we shall be talking about this in 2037.
Yeah.